And we're live. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Sheep Get Sheared podcast, where we talk about people, politics, and popular culture. I am your host, Austin Creed. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. So, for those of you who are new, I want to welcome you in, and we're going to discuss a very interesting topic today. For those of you who are around the same age as me, or maybe you're just getting out of college, you've been to college, you're going to college, whatever it may be, this one's going to be very relevant to you because we're talking about today the indoctrination and education. I don't know about y'all, but I'm in college right now, and I see it every single class I have without fail. And I've been to a couple different colleges and I can tell that story another time. But what I will discuss today is the very fact that is it just me, or are professors almost entirely liberals and on a good day, and they're communists on a bad day without fail? But we're gonna really dive into this. We're gonna talk about, for those of you who maybe didn't read a lot of your books in high school, we're gonna talk about Brave New World and what Aldous Huxley called the state conditioning centers. Are they here in America already? Are they not? We're gonna talk about that. We're also gonna talk about today the professors. Again, we're gonna discuss. I ask a lot of questions throughout the show. For those of you who are new, my first question of the day is this: have you ever encountered these professors that will almost intimidate you with their intellectual ability, when really they're hemming and hawing and they're talking in circles, but they use words over 3 syllables, so you think, ooh, they're so sophisticated. Ooh, they're so intelligent, and they're making all these amazing points, and I feel so inferior. No. Actually, what's happening is they're using a lot of words to say nothing. But we're going to talk about that today because I need you to know that, and we're going to look at those signs. We're also going to look at something also related to Brave New World, but we're going to tie it into the modern day with what's going on with the increasing usage of narcotics. If you look in Brave New World, he talks about this. Huxley created this drug called Soma, but we're gonna get into that. But first, before we dive into the show, first thing I want to say is, if you're new, I want to welcome you again. Second thing is, like I said before, I ask a lot of questions. I ask a lot of engaging questions, and I want you to participate. And the best way to do that is to go follow me on Twitter at Austin Creed. And over there, you will be able to ask me questions. You can ask other people questions, and you can help participate in this, because I ask a lot of questions leading up to the show and after the show, and sometimes just a spur of the moment question, and you're more than welcome to participate in it. And there's a URL code on my Twitter page that goes to the Patreon, and over there, if you want to give and help their show grow, I will really appreciate that. Again, that's on my Twitter handle at Austin Creed. But ladies and gentlemen, enough hemming and hawing, as they say. We're going to get on to the show. First thing I want to talk about is this: the indoctrination and education. I brought up Brave New World, and here's what we're going to do together. I'm going to show you a couple quotes, and I'm going to read them, and then I'm going to tie them in to exactly what I'm talking about today. So I'm going to share the screen. For those of you who've never read Brave New World, I'll set the stage for you. The stage is set in a future reality for Earth, where if you ever heard of conspiracy theories like the New World Order and stuff like that, which in my opinion is, less of a conspiracy and more of a, if you open your eyes for long enough, you'll see it. But that's neither here nor there. In Brave New World, there are multiple different sayings that the government puts out to control people and to get them to all think alike. And there's no, what they call, viviparous reproduction. In other words, there are no mothers, no fathers, no aunts, uncles, grandmas, nothing. There is none of that. The state owns you. The state gives you life, gives you no liberty, and the only pursuit of happiness you get is depending upon whether you're an alpha, beta, gamma, delta, etc. But what's interesting is there's multiple different quotes that are put out by the government and throughout the book that are very interesting when it comes to what I'm going to talk about here in a couple seconds. But I want to read you a couple of these quotes to preface what we're going to tie in. Number one, again, this is from Brave New World. Words can be like x-rays. If you use them properly, they'll go through anything. You read and you're pierced. Now, have any of you read a book that really struck you in the heart? It played on your heartstrings. It opened your eyes. It opened your third eye, like right here, and you're like, whoa, that's deep. Or you saw life imitate art, or you saw that the art was imitating life. Anybody ever have that? Because I've had it multiple times. Especially with listening to this book, because I listened to it on audio. It was very good. It's one of my favorite ones is this one right here. If one's different, one's bound to be lonely. One's bound to be lonely. Now, personally, I'm kind of grateful that I'm different. And I'm grateful that for the most part, I'm alone. I think it's a blessing and a curse, because when you're alone, you're able to choose who enters your life, and you're able to not just be like, oh my gosh, I need friends, please, I don't want to be alone, please don't leave me. You don't have that needy mentality that repulses people like the plague. In other words, you get to choose, and you get to vet, and you get to really dive in and understand people. And then you get to say, you know what? I like Jim. He's a good guy. Or, oh, I like Laura. She's cool. I want her in on my program. Or I want to get to know him or her better. Instead of being like, oh my gosh, it's Friday night. I need to find somebody to go out to the bar with me. No, my friends. That's not the way to go. Plus, when you conform, when you're the social butterfly, you have to conform to human standards. Because if you don't, then people are going to be like, ugh. Look at him, he's weird. Or, oh, look at her, she's kind of different. You know, and then they associate the word different with bad, which ties into the state conditioning centers I talked about earlier. Now, in Brave New World, which is a great book, if you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. Or you can listen to it on YouTube, on the audiobook form. It's very good. But it all comes back to the indoctrination and education. We already have state conditioning centers in this country. It's called the public schools. It's called college. It's called the alphabet channels. ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, MSNBC. All of it. Your local news. Those are state conditioning centers. They push the party line. They push it down they push everything that the government wants you to believe that benefits them. They don't give you the full story. They don't give you what needs to be said. They give you just enough to tell you to dumb you up and go away. That is what a state conditioning center is. They condition you, they program you to think a certain way. And if they don't get you right away, they'll get other people who have already bought into the big lie to pressure you into believing it. Or they will force you to accept what they are saying if you want to be socially accepted. Have a normal stake in society. They will make you do that. Which leads me to my next question. My friends, whether you're in school now or you were in school, here's my question. Did you ever have a teacher where you felt very intimidated? Like you had to align with their politics. You had to align with what they thought, what they said, what they insinuated, and if you didn't, you thought you'd get a bad grade. Did anybody else have that? Because I know I sure did. I have it even now. And here's something I'll show you. Look at this. So according to the Pacific Research Institute, here's what they say. They say, while it is unsurprising that most actors and actresses, there are 90 Democrats for every 10 Republicans. Oh, big shock. Oh, you mean to tell me that actors and actresses tend to be more liberal than conservative? Oh my gosh, that's shocking. Really? You think Hollywood and even at the local level, you think that they're all, conservatives or libertarians or Republicans? Hell no. Not even close. And if they are, they don't let you know that. They'll be the most flaming pinko liberal communist bum you could ever imagine. And look at this. Amongst English teachers in school now, English teachers, there are 97 Democrats for every 3 Republicans, with the proposition being even more one-sided amongst health teachers, with 99 Democrats for every 1 Republican. Again, this is a Washington Post report on research conducted by Vernon Labs using politically distributed data on the Democrat-Republican divide based on job type. Now, I want to ask you something. Health teachers. Who do you think that is? Gym teacher, sexual education teacher. Yes, my friends. You know, the people who are going to go along with the LGBTQ really extreme garbage, you know, of, oh, there's no such thing as gender, there's no such thing as this and that and the other thing, and if you say so, you're wrong, even though I can literally look down and notice, oh, wait a minute, I have a certain sexual organ, you know, stuff like that, those people. Wow, you mean to tell me they're mostly liberal Democrats? Wow, oh my goodness, dude. Cue the collective gasp. I could have never guessed. Let's recap reading this. While there are slightly more Republicans amongst math and science amongst high school teachers overall, there are still 87 Democrat to 13 Repub. Did you catch that? You are more likely to be a Republican teacher if you are in math and science, you know, the two things that actually matter, outside of potentially like maybe law. I mean, my friends, don't you find that to be a little interesting? I certainly do. Like I said, conditioning. If most of your teachers are Democrats on a good day and communists on a bad day, do you not think that's going to not rub off on students? Especially when you have them from preschool up until they graduate college. Every single day, minus the weekends, and even on the weekends they got homework. Every single day, they're slowly being put and programmed with this rubbish, and their bias. Even if the information is completely objective, which is a big if. Even if it's completely objective, every single interpretation or bias they get is very likely to be just Democrat and or communist. Do you not think that that's going to play a role in the development of that child? It will, and it does. Look at our society. Look at the rates of people coming out as LGBTQ, or the people who are voting for the hologram in a basement known as the former President Joe Biden. My friends, this is not a joke. This is not a joke. This is something that people don't want you to hear about. They think that Republicans are stupid. Oh, it's just those check pants Republican rich guys, you know. They're out of touch with the public. No one even knows what a Republican stands for other than the negative anymore. Or a conservative. They see conservative and they think that he's a Nazi, which is ridiculous. In fact, Nazis were left-wingers. National Socialism. That's what Nazism stood for, and yet they want to tell me that they're far right-wingers. Total lie. Anyways, let's keep going with it. My friends, before we keep going, I want to really ask you this. Do you think that education is indoctrination at this point? Because I do. I do. I think it's gotten to the point where you cannot separate the two anymore. They want you to push a line. Look on TikTok, for God's sakes. Like I said, I don't have TikTok. I'm the guy, just like your parents see Instagram Reels on Facebook, I see TikTok Reels on Instagram. That's me. I see this stuff a lot. And if you watch other conservative outlets like the Steven Crowder Show, or you watch even guys like Ben Shapiro or guys like that, you will see what I'm talking about. Or Matt Walsh with the liberal, his cancellation shtick. Every single time, there's always this liberal professor who's pushing the communist line, who's subtly, or not even trying to be subtle anymore, because they know they can get away with it, pushing you to, hey, you should accept this. Hey, you should believe this. Hey, you should be accepting and inclusive. Which leads me to the next thing, inclusion. Inclusion is the biggest lie in society today. Biggest lie, and I'll tell you why. If you're an intellectual minority, as I am, when I talk about what I talk about on this show, trust me, I don't just live in this room that you see me record in, okay? I have a very active life outside of this with my friends, family, etc. So I actually walk in the streets. So I talk to the local business owners. I get the whole idea. And here, especially here in California, it's a disaster. An absolute disaster. Inclusion, even when it comes to, even if you're not white, even if you're black, you're Hispanic, you're Asian, whatever, and you don't follow in lockstep with the communist, the Democrat Party line, they'll call you names, they'll try to throw you under the bus, they'll try to get you, hey, you, get back in line. I didn't say you could step out of line. How dare you have a mind of your own? Yeah. It works the same way for me, though. It's like, what? You don't think that white privilege is a thing? What? You don't think that racism and climate change and no. I think you make yourself who you are. And as soon as I step out from the line, as soon as I step out from the rat race, people will start, oh my God, he's doing it again. Oh, we gotta get him back in line. Am I alone here? You ever had people you thought you knew, you thought were your friends, suddenly kind of glitch on you, and they're like, wait a minute, you don't think that Caitlyn Jenner is a hero? What? Are you transphobic? Are you this? Are you that? Oh my God, I didn't know this about you. And then you see when it's like it's a phrase, it's like a code phrase. As soon as you say something, it's like, that interprets into this, and that means this, and you see it like expand and expand and expand and expand, when you didn't actually say more than a handful of words, and then suddenly they're saying that you did this, and you must believe that, and you must have voted for this person, and must have, aligned with these beliefs, and blah, 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 blah. You see how that works? Am I alone? Am I the only person who's experienced this? That's why inclusion's a lie. Inclusion only exists if you agree with them, and you might be slightly different, but you're still on the same side as them, then they'll include you. But if you don't follow very, very closely with like 90 to 95% of what they say, they won't include you. In fact, they're going to condemn you, they're going to try to cancel you, they're going to try to they're going to try to cut you out. They're going to try to get rid of you and make sure that you are never heard from again. Because according to AOC, which I hate even using those terms because that's a presidential seal, and I don't ever want to see her anywhere near the White House. But according to her, deplatforming works. In other words, if we cancel your free speech, that's great because I don't like you and I don't agree with you. Does no one else see a problem with that besides me? I don't care if you're a communist. I think you should have the right to say whatever you want. Now, you don't have the right to tell me how to think and what I should think, and that you don't have that right. But if you want to get a soapbox and go to Union Square like my grandfather, go ahead, make my day. But that's what free speech is. You can say what you want. And everybody else has the right to ignore you or to push back on what you said. That is what freedom of speech is. You don't have a right to assault somebody. You don't have the right to attack them. You don't have the right to commit violence. Speech is not violence, my friends. Violence is violence. And all of violence is, I think it's disgusting. I think violence is bad when it comes to especially politics. It doesn't work. Because that doesn't make you more right. It just makes you, this means you have more might. But that's how the left works today. They think that they can just cancel you instead of debating you and actually talking about your ideas. They try to talk about you, and they try to cancel you. They commit I think it's the ad hominem fallacy, where it's they attack your character, try to disprove your message. It doesn't work that way. My friends, I don't know what's going on in the world today. It's disgusting. But here's what I really want to get across. If you are in the intellectual minority, if you have slipped through the cracks of the indoctrination that modern day education has become, what do you do to cope? How do you hide in plain sight? And I don't think you should hide in plain sight. I think you should be able to wear your opinions on your sleeve. You don't have to do anything extreme. You just say what you believe. The left does it every day. Why can't you do it? What, you're gonna lose your job? What are they're gonna attack you? They're gonna dox you? They're gonna do all these horrible things? That's called fascism. That's called communism. Now, fascism comes from the word fascisti, which means stick. It means to rule by force. It means to force you to agree with them, whether by hook or by crook. That's why I tell you that they're fascists. It's disgusting, and I'm sick of it, and I know that you're sick of it, because you're living through it just like I'm living through it. But what do? You don't have any power. I only have a microphone. But here's what I'm gonna tell you. I don't want to. A lot of doom and gloom has been had today on the show, but I want to tell you this, my friends, you're not alone. If you're a conservative, you're not alone. We are the silent majority in this country, and we're not going anywhere. In fact, the only place we're going is to the polls, is to the voting booth where we vote these bums out of office. That's where we're going. And don't let anybody tell you different. Because I guarantee you, people will say that, oh yeah, that Trump, he's bad. And they'll go in there and they'll vote for him. Because they don't want to lose their job. They don't want their coworkers to post about them on Twitter. They don't want people to post their address on Twitter. They don't want them to have Antifa come and harass them. They don't want to do any of those things, so they'll pretend like they don't like Trump. They'll pretend like they don't like DeSantis. They'll pretend like they don't like these people. But they do. They'll pretend like they don't like guys like, well, what is his name? Vivek Ramaswamy? I hope I pronounced that correctly. They'll pretend like they think those guys are bunk, but then they'll go vote for them. They'll go to the ballot box and they'll vote for them. That's all. I know what I'm talking about, my friends. Trust me. But anyways, my friends, what are your thoughts on indoctrination and education today? Do you agree with me that the alphabet channels and high school, public school, and whatnot are all part and parcel of the indoctrination camp that we see today, the conditioning centers? Let me know. Let me know. Find me on Twitter at Austin Creed and let me know. Tweet me at Aussie Creed. Let me know. AUZZIECREED. Let me know. I want to know what you think. Or comment below the video on YouTube if you're watching on YouTube. Anyway, my friends, until next time, God bless you, God bless your family, and God bless the United States of America. We're out of here. Peace.